Yo, this shit OP. Ice, ice, baby, she was too cold, cold. She was too damn cold, too damn cold.
Look who I see. Hey, everybody. This your girl, Yayo from TheYayoshow. And guess who I got right with me, y'all? Straight out my neighborhood, Darwin Page. Hi, Darwin.
What's up? What's up? What up, though? Shout out Dayton Ave, Flint, Michigan. Y'all know what it is.
Oh, my God. It's so good to see you.
Man,
We
that's
haven't seen
crazy.
each other in years, right?
Yeah, it's crazy, man, how things come full circle. It really
Wow.
is. It's good to see you. Like, I for a minute, I just was stumped. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, this ain't what I think it is. And I'm watching and I'm observing and I'm gathering information at the same time. And I'm like, man, hell no,
Still
look
gonna put
at
the pieces
this.
to the puzzle together, huh?
Yeah, I put it together and damn. That's all I can say. Wow.
You
So how you
said,
been?
damn, man,
Yeah,
I'm
you doing your
good. I'm
thing.
good.
You built for it tough, you know. You from the way, so I already know you good.
You
And,
know,
and just
if we
just
can survive Flint and Dayton Ave, you can make it
mm,
anywhere.
mm,
You know what I
mm.
mean? People don't
You
be
going
thinking like when I meet people out here in Vegas, meet people from Cali and this and that. They judge me by my cover very fast.
they let the smooth
I'm
taste fool them,
so
huh?
yeah, and I want to tell them
Yeah.
so bad, but I don't tell nobody. I'm humble about where I'm from because I don't glorify it or anything. But I'm
Right,
just, dude,
right. But they still
you
don't
you
know.
just don't know. This ain't really
So,
your type of time. I'm trying to
sometimes
help.
you just gotta
You really
show them.
ain't ready for me.
And no,
You really
no,
ain't ready.
absolutely not. Wow.
Now, D, let's get into this podcast because you've been hitting me up and you told me that you want to share your story and anybody know, you know what I'm saying, where I come from. I'm open to let you share your story, but it was just very interesting. And the reason why I named this title about bad parenting, because when it comes to parenting, it's no owner's manual to it.
Right.
Other than the Bible is where I come from because I'm old school and I am a Christian. I did grow up around, you know, old school morals and different things. But being a young mom, I'm a pretty much an open book. I was like what 15 when I had my first kid. You know what I mean? So, and I experienced and coming up in Flint, Michigan, that's like very like normal. You get what I
Yeah,
mean? Like they got TV
absolutely.
shows about it now, but when I was coming up, it was just okay. She had a baby. You know what I mean? Like, all right, so it was very normal. But your story is a little different. Okay,
Yeah.
growing
A
up
whole
now,
lot different.
it's a whole lot different. But what
Yeah.
I wanted to do, because some people think they have it hard in life. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you think you got it hard, huh? But I want to share your story and starting off, I think what at the age of 10 with you? Was it 10, 9, 10 years old?
Well, you talking about as far as street life?
Just a street life experience because a lot
It
of people don't
started.
even understand.
Well, let me tell you this. My mother had me, and she was already in custody herself in a prison ward at a hospital at Hurley Medical Center.
Okay.
She went to prison. I didn't meet her until I was 6. By the time she came home from prison, by my 7th birthday, I had a gun in my hand, and I was already moving the bag with her. So
Okay.
pills and syrup, I knew all about how to, and which ones go to who and who go to what. And that was the norm for me. And most people glorify that. And I did in my youth. because it was all I knew. And but once I started getting exposed to people who really started caring about me, that wanted me to see the best, they started to see how abnormal that was. It was so normal for us. Like I'm talking about, and you've seen it. We it's the norm to go through those things and be on the corners 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and you still in elementary school, but you hustling. I ain't gonna throw
Right.
no names around, but this particular instance I will, because he's a part of my testimony. But my homie Damian Dukes, right off of Genesee and Mason, we
I
sat
know,
on the block.
David. We lived around
Yeah,
the corner from each
yeah,
other.
absolutely. Yeah, it's literally on corner, right? But me and Damien used to be on the block. We
He
was the
stole my
youngest.
pipes.
I don't know nothing about that.
I know. Oh, it's last
But
joke. We
me and
caught it
Damien did. Hey,
but don't forget, I'm older than y'all.
I know.
But
So
we
you was watching
caught
us. Y'all was watching us. I know. Right. Y'all
look
was watching us. You wouldn't
badass.
fell
I
on
love
them.
him, bro,
Hey,
but he's still
that's
fam. You know
right.
what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say anything bad. But
But
yeah, that's how bad y'all was growing up.
those things. But at the end of the day, for those of us who are fortunate enough to be alive, it's a
Mhm.
testimony. It's not a gold chain or a feather to tuck in a cap. It's a testimony,
Right.
because where where we come from, the heart of Flint, it was
Mhm.
normal to witness murders and to people close to you dying left and right, getting their brains blown out. And to grow up and survive through that, regardless of whatever your difficulty may have been, to what extent mine was prison.
Right.
And some people's bottom is the grave. They don't get a second chance. So for us, that's from the hood. That's really here. That's why take my hats off to ID, to Jake. I take my hats off to all them. Yeah, yeah, no, for real. Because
Take the plate.
hey,
You know,
yeah,
they
listen,
do
nothing to discuss. Them was my big brothers. Them guys taught me. Like when I was away from my mama, and my mama put hustling in me, I watched them, and they groomed me. You feel
right,
me? You couldn't say nothing about none of them in the hood without Fat Man coming at you.
right.
Period. Like for real, like that's mad love and respect. And it's like that with most of the guys in the hood. We all felt like that about one another. So,
Mhm.
but what I'm saying is, to experience those hardships that we did, and to come out and still, some of them still now they have families and they have businesses, and so
Yeah.
it's not impossible to be that diamond in the rough, or that rose that bloomed through the concrete, and I'm
Right.
seeing it through some people that I grew up with, and it's
Mhm.
amazing.
Right. It
Yeah.
is. Now
So I don't
let's
regret.
take it back. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you said you don't regret. Go ahead.
I don't
It's
I
okay.
don't read the only reason I don't regret what I've been through is because of, in some instances, people got hurt, but at the end my life's lesson was monumental. it,
Okay.
it really it humanized me, so
Okay.
I could yeah, so I, hey, I am who I am. What I'm not, I'll never be, and I'm fine with the man that I've developed into, considering the circumstances.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, we fixing to take it back a little bit.
Okay.
So when you were born, your mom was in prison when she had you.
Hurley Medical Center prison ward. I was
Okay.
due I was due 4th of July, but I came out June 24th because I was too big, and she was, on her way to the joint and all that. And
Right.
my grandparents on both sides of my family, right up on Dewey and Mildred and Jameson and Saginaw, the Powells and the Bowdens. Like between those two, it's like it was a nation of people around me as far as support,
All
at
right.
least until my mother came home.
Until she came home. So how was it, if you can remember, when your mom came home? Tell me what
Well,
you remember about that.
I remember standing in the backyard at my grandmother's house up on Dewey and Mildred, and my sister Jackie was in the backyard with me, and my brother Clenzel, my little cousin Artie Boo. We all was in the backyard, and a car pulled up and it had a white woman in it, and then there was this woman that got out the car and she looked like my sister Jackie, and I was like, and they like trying to come on, and she coming at me with tears in her eyes, crying like, "Come here," and I'm like, because all I heard was ghost stories about this woman. This woman
Oh,
was a real gangster. You hear me?
right.
Like I ain't finna take no shorts from her. I don't glorify it. She did, but That's all she popped out of her mouth. That she lived that life. You live by the sword, you die by it. But anyways, it was like seeing a ghost. And I'm the one that she decided to take home with her, and we moved into a 1 bedroom apartment. And immediately, I knew what the smell of marijuana was consistently, even though I knew it from my brother and my sisters. But and then
Right.
I began to experience seeing how the substances take over them and changes them and get them in a different mode. And I've seen the beast come out, and I was taught how to bring that beast out myself, even from a sexual perspective when I was a child. My mother felt like, well, I'm gonna teach you how to be what you're gonna be the right way. And she put one of her female friends on me, like, teach him how to be a man in ways that I can't. That's how I learned how to give head on a woman when I was, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of my friends didn't even know this about me, but they all felt sorry for me in the hood because they knew, like, damn, he's smart. He an animal out here. But some of them didn't give up on me, and to this day, they are my best friends. But that
Okay.
whole upbringing was just,
How is
I don't
that
respect.
right? How do that sorry, I'm not cutting you off, but how did that
Mm-mm.
upbringing affect you now in relationships, like when you're dating women? You know what I mean? Like, do it make you look at us a different kind of way now?
Well,
Like, because some people that experience those kind of things usually grow up to
develop
be
intimacy issues.
yeah, the intimacy issues, all that kind. So what have that done to you?
It was
Or did it do nothing?
the way that it was. It did something. Oh, it did something. And what it did
Oh,
is it gave me a taste in women that were older than me. Like it gave me a ego because I knew stuff that other kids that my age didn't know. But at the same time, it kind of like made me feel uncomfortable because I'm like, damn, am I supposed to be this way with any woman that I'm with? Am I supposed to do it? Am I supposed to give myself all this way? Because there's been a time or two where I found myself emotionally attached, and it was nothing more than a game. So it does put barriers there. It does turn on lights. Some people become traumatized by it if it was against their will. In my particular instance, it wasn't against my will. It was something that I felt like I needed to learn because that's what was instilled in me by my mother.
but
You
at
see,
what age?
I was 8.
That's a
Yeah,
little young for something that
yeah,
you need to
yeah.
learn.
I was a head doctor by 9. Real talk. So for real, like
And
I
you
don't.
felt
That's
like
that.
now, as this day, you feel like
That's my secret weapon.
it was something that you needed to learn.
Yes, yes. That was my secret weapon.
I'm
The
scratching my head.
equalizer. Yeah, the
But no,
equalizer.
this is
But
no
and that
judgment.
wasn't and it wasn't just the equalizer for long because when God put certain people in lines, he put them in lines 2 or 3 times. And it just
Right.
so happened to be a balance to make it plumb.
Okay. Okay. I get that. Okay. So now we're going to move forward.
Okay.
You're 9, 10 years old, if you can remember. Now you're being introduced to the game, right? But
Yeah.
you were introduced to the game by your mom. Am
Hmm.
I correct? Your
I
mom
came off
taught
the when it really took off, like when crack cocaine hit Flint, Michigan,
you. Mhm.
and when people like I'm just gonna say, oh, for instance, start coming off the porch and really doing things in the neighborhood and making a name for themselves. It was a little scraggler pit bull behind him, up under him, like learning everything that he could. And I had already knew how to when a drought hit. I knew how to who to go to. I knew what to do if I had this. I knew how to step on it because my mama taught me how to do it. Taught me how to be ready for stuff like that.
Right.
So it was and it was fun at the time and very dangerous because
Right.
there's a plethora of times that I should have been dead. Um,
When you say you should have been dead, why do you think you should have been dead? And take your time, okay? We just want to go through this. Why do you think you should have been dead? and you're alive and you're here with us right now.
Just with my mom, we've been in shootouts back to back. This is when they started finding certain people from certain cities in abandoned houses, and because they tried to come and take over territory that, or tried to put their hands on my sister. I had to shoot first, ask questions later.
Right.
That's what my mama taught me how to do. I ain't have to come off the porch and learn it. I slept with it in my house. 2, 3, 4 in the morning, people knocking on the door for dope, and I'm standing there with a rifle bigger than me, guarding my mother so that she can make the transaction. Guy running across the street in a house, pulling me out of burning house because I'm upstairs asleep because somebody firebombed the house and tried to wait for us to run out and shoot us up. And Greg James ran him off and ran in the house and got me out to burn the house over his shoulder while I'm asleep. It's a whole lot of other instances where I shouldn't be here, where I'm supposed to have been dead.
Right.
I ain't talking about no music, no what people talking about in songs. I'm talking about the real shit. And everybody
Right.
in Flint that know me know.
Right. But you're here, and I'm glad you're here with me.
I'm so thankful.
And once again, we survive. I think I need to call my show "Surviving Dayton," but take your
Call it
time.
call it whatever you want. Call it blessed.
Bless.
Yeah, because the thing about it is this, right? No 2 days are the same. And every opportunity we get to make an impact or to be the message that we bring, it
Right.
affects people. Even if it's only one person, it affects them. Be it through
Right.
your music, be it through podcasts, be it through not even liking you. Because in order for a person not to like you, he has to watch you or she has to watch you enough to study you to know something about you that they don't like.
Right.
And therefore, that means that it must be something positive because everybody else loves you for it.
Right.
So I didn't mean to get emotional on this, but
It's
I don't.
okay. This
I
is your
don't.
safe
Hey,
place.
I
This is
know
your
this is my
safe
safe
place.
place. This is my safe place.
I mean, I can.
Everybody,
I'm no stranger. Okay, I know I've been gone from the hood for a while, but
but
I'm still
I've
no
been
stranger.
gone even longer.
You've been
I've been
gone.
I've been gone even longer.
And speaking of that, maybe we change it up a little bit.
Wherever you want to
You end
go,
up
I'm with
losing your mom.
you. Yeah, some guys ran up in the house and they shot her up. When I was 14, I was already away in a juvenile facility for committing an offense on her behalf. So, and I went on a run for that. I mean, not to jump, put the cart in front of the horse, but to give you the details of the story. My own sister turned me in, called the police on me because I wouldn't give her no dope. And so they locked me up in the juvenile facility. And while I was at that facility, um, my grandmother convinced me with the support of my group members that I should enter a foster care program. Something that would give me an opportunity to, put my talents on display as a musician, as an athlete. And so I decided to do that on my 14th birthday when she came to see me. We all sat around, they made a big cake for me, and I told her, I wanted to go to foster care. I had a chance to do this and do that and the other. And she flipped the wig on me. She said, "Oh, I don't want to use profanity, but she she said, you done let these white people brainwash you. Who gonna be there for me to watch my back if something happened to me?" And flip the table over on me. And
At the
she
juvenile
started,
home.
yeah, 100 miles away. And she started walking down the street like she was on her way home. So they went and got her and took her home. She wouldn't, I, I wouldn't get a response when I wrote letters. or sent pictures. I went off to New York City. The company selected me to be a representative for the 12th World Congress for youth, for troubled youth in New York City. This is where I met Donald Trump when I was 13, 14. I met Prince. I met Roseanne Barr, now known as Roseanne Arnold. Uh, I met a plethora of celebrities who are relevant today, but and they were interested in my talents. But anyway, I'm sending pictures home to my mother of this, like this is something that I'm doing, and hoping she'd be proud of me. And I'm sending them to everybody in the neighborhood. I knew everybody's addresses because I grew up there, from
Okay.
Hamilton Street all the way down damn near to Pasadena, if, especially Dayton, White, Baker, Taylor, and Rankin. I know I've been in just about all those houses. So I'd write letters and send pictures of me in clown makeup, doing skits on instruments, playing. And the whole neighborhood was like, look at Fat Man, like he's supposed to be dead. But she wouldn't even respond. So I finally got a call when my grandmother said that you need to come home. And I'm like, for what? I'm thinking I'm going to get an early pass. She say, no, they shot your mama last night. So
So before
yeah,
she died, you and her couldn't even have a chance to rekindle your relationship with her.
no, the, her and my grandmother had regular conversations after surgery, and my mother would go down, and she would be preserving her strength. My grandmother told me, she was like, she waiting on you to get here. So I got there, and I walked in the room. She had just came out of her surgery, and she turned her head on me, and my grandmother seen it, and she caught me as I turned around the corner, and she said she just didn't want you to see her like that.
Right.
I thought she was mad at me.
She just was more ashamed. She wasn't upset. She was ashamed.
Yeah, that vulnerability, she wasn't with that. So, and I believe that, and I led myself to believe that and accept that as the reasonings. But in reality, I remember the last conversation that we had. So I knew what it was. But anyway, I sat in a hospital room with her. I sat with my head in the bed, with her head in my lap, across the back of the hospital bed. And my grandmother sat in the corner. She slept in the corner in a chair with my niece Jessica. Jessica was like almost 5 years old then. My sister's daughter. I kind of like raised her as my daughter. And Mama would always squeeze one time for yes, two times for no, or lick her tongue out. Or if she laughed, the heart rate machine would go crazy.
Right.
So while my grandmother was asleep, she wasn't asleep for real, but she was keeping an eye on me. My mom kind of like pulled her I think it was a feeding tube out, and she whispered some things to me. Then she died. The heart machines went crazy, and I acted like I didn't know what was going on as they rushed in the room and tried to resuscitate her, but I knew it was over with. Her finger, she had a diamond ring on her finger. It swelled 4 times the size. He was talking about they had to cut it off to get the ring, and I just massaged her finger all the way to the morgue until I was able to get it off. So, um, while at her funeral, it was a lot of stuff surrounding her case, around her murder. You know, probably even the wrong guy went to prison probably for her murder. So that's all I'm gonna say about it right now.
Okay.
But my grandmother had them to take me right back to the foster care, right back to the place, right from her grave site, because she didn't want me running the streets. And everybody always had this preconceived notion about when Fat Man come around, it's trouble. And here go Fat Man. Everybody except for the older people, except for the OGs in the hood. And even those people, they wouldn't let me do certain things and told me not to do certain things unless I ran it by them. I didn't honor that, but when I did what I did, it was for a reason. So I was never frowned down upon for it, you know. And I'm talking about that loyalty, that loyalty when you pledge
Right.
that loyalty to the streets.
Right.
And I'm not gonna say in this instance the wrong people, because these people to this day are successful people. So apparently whatever it was that they was giving me, it was right. So, but after that I lost it. Like, I was in foster care 100 miles away. I'm trying to take advantage of this being a kid thing, even though I don't know what it is. I'm from Flint, Michigan. If you can't knock an old head out and you above 5 feet tall, you got problems. We gonna whoop you until you figure out how to do it. And
Right.
you know what I'm saying? You go all everything, paying them dues, paying respect to certain hoods, all that. And when you go somewhere that you don't have to do this, you ain't got to worry about picking up a gun, looking over your shoulders, and you try to be a normal kid, you find yourself like conflicted. Like, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I don't supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be right there in them trenches. Like, then people were in my ear, like, stop, give yourself half a chance, give yourself half a chance. And so I began to do that. Um, my grades, my grades were pretty good in school. I was a 3.59 GPA, and that's why certain people in the neighborhood, like Mark, Mama, Chauncey, Mama, uh, uh, J Love, Mama, all of them never gave up on me, like, because they was like, it's something about Fat Man, Troy Spurlock, Mama. They all be like, boy, you wild as hell, but it's something about you, and we ain't gonna give up on you. And they didn't. And to this day, that's the love that I got in my life. Like, but doing these things, I was diagnosed with survivor's guilt, because I felt like, how the hell am I happy and trying to do this and trying to do that when my mother ain't here, when she said, what's going to happen to me if you're not around? Who going to be there to
Right.
watch my back?
Yeah.
So that part of me made me gravitate towards the street life where I was. And
Hmm.
even though I'm hanging with old heads, these cats don't even know what they running with. They don't know that this kid got bodies under him. They don't know this kid, and you feel me?
Right.
And so I'm still trying to do good and bad at the same time, but I kept myself out of the meat of things and tried to be that kid, because that feeling began to resonate with my early King school days. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? When I was in the Gold House and Miss Bowman and Mr. Kennedy and Mr. Evans made me feel like I was something. It only
Oh,
lasted for a minute because of my home influence, but I recognized that it became familiar to me. And so when I
right.
seen it there, I tried to grasp onto it, but I got a call that, hey, this dude showed up, and
So
I
what
had
is
to
it
go.
that you okay, go ahead.
No, I just
You
I
showed
had to.
up.
Yeah, I showed up. And
Right.
what's crazy about it is it was three of us on the case, and two of the guys on the case, they sell dope with the dude. I don't even know him like that. I just remember him from before I left.
Hmm.
You feel me? And I
Right.
remember what was told to me. You feel me?
Right.
So I let them under false pretenses, whatever it was, they wanted to rob him, get whatever. I didn't care about that. I wanted him, you know.
Right. You were trying to
And
seek the revenge.
yeah, I
Right.
was. I did. I did.
Okay. And then
And
moving after that, you end up doing time in prison.
yeah, I was 16 years old. One of my co-defendants pled guilty to second degree murder. He got arrested on an unrelated offense, and he pretty much summoned the police to give them information about that in the hopes of getting that charge dropped. He still went to prison. He did on an 8 to 30. The other one, he started making statements and trying to place the blame with people and getting other people in trouble. And then, so I'm forced to plead guilty to second degree. I'm like, everybody pointing at me. I pled guilty to second degree murder. He already don't pled guilty. He going to trial for first degree murder. They find him guilty of second degree murder anyway. They give me a life sentence. And
At what age did you get life?
16 years old. 16 years old, they gave me a life sentence. Judge Robert Ransom. And he said
Mhm.
that I was a threat to society, that I was a menace, and that um a whole bunch of other stuff, that he kind of insulted my mother along the way during this tirade. But I knew then that I was in a lot of trouble. But at the same time, I was prepared for it, because I knew I had a fight on my hands. Because I knew that if I ever ran into this individual, what my risks versus the rewards were. So
Right.
I just didn't think that it would be a life sentence that, you know, but I served 31 and a half years. Um,
In a
most
Michigan
of,
correctional facility,
yeah,
right?
yes, Michigan Department of Corrections.
Right.
I'm currently on parole right now,
Okay.
until May 9th of next year. Then I get off parole. When they resentenced me, it's crazy how it happened because I proved a point. And that point was that a black man in the Michigan Department of Corrections without a mouthpiece, a lawyer
Hmm.
to step and advocate on their behalf, is up
Right.
shit creek without a paddle. And so let me tell you how it happened.
Okay.
Um, if you will allow me to.
I will
Um,
allow you to.
Thank you. No,
Tell
because
me.
I know because I mean last time I saw you I was a kid and people wonder
We
like
were
what happened.
kids, right? What
Yeah,
happened?
so um well for 30 years straight I had been raising the issue concerning competency, the circumstances surrounding my case, you know,
Okay.
and they kept denying me with a rubber stamp. They just kept denying me, just kept denying me. Like sometimes I would send it out and it'd come back so quick I thought that I didn't put enough postage on it, you know. So, but I never gave up the fight. My homeboys pretty much made me get in the law library and encouraged me. I mean, no matter what, even though we were in prison, we taught each other and we supported each other and helped each other understand that you don't have to be behind bars to be locked up.
Right.
So
Right.
um, the more and more I studied in the law library, the more and more I became convinced that I had a legitimate issue because all these different sciences were pointing towards the issue that I was raising. It was just putting it in legal terms. And so I never gave up. But finally, one of our homegirls, Trisha Duckworth, shout out to Survivor Speak,
Hey.
you know,
Hi.
she she jumped in the car with me like and I found her like we found each other like and through one of the homies Chauncey off White Street. And she was like, "Well, what are you doing?" And I explained to her what I was doing. She was like, "What?" I said, "All I need," I say, I don't mean to be arrogant or sound like a narcissist when I say this. I say, but the appeal is so air clad that if I get a mouthpiece to just go in front of the court for me and just read what I wrote, I'll get relief. And so Trisha introduced me to attorney Stephanie Carter
Okay.
out of Ann Arbor area, an older African American woman, a beautiful spirit. She simply came to me. She said, Darwin, she said, I'm gonna be real with you. You've been raising this issue over and over and over again. She said, what do you think that I could do to help? Now, this is a woman who is a city attorney. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't. I mean, although I was well versed in civil law as well, I never read any cases with her name in it. So I
Hmm.
said, ma'am, I said, all I need, I said, I did all my own research. I did my own brief writing, my own issue spotting. Just go in front of the court and just make sure they don't rubber stamp me. Just listen to my issue. I had one issue that I raised.
Hmm.
And when I raised that issue, I had a new
What was the
judge.
issue? What was the
The
issue?
issue, the issue was the sentence being tailored towards the seriousness of the crime and the offender involved. And it was a sentencing guideline issue where, because of a prior history, like the juvenile situation that I had told you about,
Right.
they started to say that I was on probation for that, and they used that being on probation to enhance my sentencing guidelines to put the or life on there, which
Okay.
justified them giving me life. So my
Okay.
guideline originally said 15 to 30 or life, and they gave me life, but I wasn't in fact on probation. I was just a state of the ward because I was 13 years old when I caught those serious offenses for my mother. And the
Okay.
definition of a juvenile is at the time was someone who was 14 years of age or older. So
Okay.
those points knocked me down to where they had to take the life sentence off me and give me numbers. They resentenced me to 26 to 39 years, having
Okay.
31 having 31 and a half years in with 6 years of disciplinary credits. I had 2 years left of parole and they just put me on parole.
Okay. Well, I'm glad
I
you
was
home.
Thank you very much.
I'm glad you're home. So now that you are home, okay, here's the question. How is it in the world now? Because a lot changed in 30 something years. Trying to get a jobs, rehabilitated, moving out the city of Flint. How is that working for you?
Well, my adjustment psychologically and spiritually has kind of been like a smooth one for me because of my support system. Like
Okay.
the same people that's in my life now were the same people that's in my life back then. So as I grew as a person, they were able to see that and knew where and how to support me. And so that made me feel more confident and safe coming home that I can still be me and adjust according to my pace. I don't
Okay.
I didn't come out with the intentions or desires to run the streets, hit everything moving, and just sow my royal oats and do all this. I didn't that wasn't me. I prepared myself. I got into books. Although I had a problem with putting my hands on people in prison on occasions and
Okay. Because you had
rebutting
to
authority.
survive. You did it for
I,
survival, or you
I
just
had
figured
to
it
I
out.
had and
You
some
had to
no,
survive.
sometimes you gotta step out and show a nigga.
Right.
But again, but
Right.
no, seriously, like just preparing. And on the inside, I was looked at as being crazy because I had a life sentence. I play all these instruments every day. You see me, I'm writing all these songs and I'm writing these books. I'm writing these stories. I cut hair, I braid hair. I attend classes that the guys who get ready to go home attend. I'm paying to get in other classes that can help pad my record. Like I found myself like preparing myself. Like it wasn't
Right.
just about running the yard with the homies and getting high and drinking and smoking. We did some of all that, but at the end of the day, uh, 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 nothing comes to a dreamer but sleep. So I had to prepare myself. I stayed in the books even when I went to the hole. I stayed putting kites into the law library. I stayed in books. The
Okay.
intelligence, the the intelligence of the human being is infinite. And man made in the image and likeness of God is the personification of supreme intelligence.
Yes.
See, and what I started to learn is that we possess not only the ability to create and direct our own destinies, but we can control it as well. And so I felt like you are what you eat. So I started eating different. You
Okay.
understand
Well,
what
how
I'm
did your
saying?
diet change when you say eat different? What did your diet consist of?
My diet consisted of no bullshit. That's what my diet consisted of. No bullshit. Don't be
Right.
for no
Eating
games.
raspberry.
See, yeah, yeah, but I'm talking about a spiritual and an emotional diet
Right.
because I was 257 pounds when I was in prison. And my
Hmm.
last year before I came home, I was in a wheelchair for that year. And I'm talking about I literally ballooned up to 257 pounds. And I've been home 17 months. I'm 209 pounds. And I eat probably one good meal a day. My family be on me about eating bullshit junk food, but they say I need to put my weight back on a little bit. But
Okay.
it all starts here because if you think lose weight, then
It's so
you can eat what you want to eat.
right.
Because you would automatically put a stipulation on yourself as far as your cutoff point, and in return, the body reacts uh, uh, chemically to that adjustment. Just like if you haven't had food in your system for a long time and start eating the fat in the body, it's
Right.
the same process. To you, it's hunger. You
Exactly.
starving. You ain't starving. Your body doing what it's supposed to do is going in survival mode. Is getting rid of all the stuff that you haven't tried to get rid of, but at the same time, it's feeding itself.
Right.
So, in the same approach with life, like, and I came out here with that approach. I own my own travel agency. I own my own recording studio, my own production company, Promise and Dream Entertainment.
Oh,
Um, I take on clients to where I cut hair. I even do eyebrows. I twist locks. You know what I'm saying? I do lawn care.
you just
I
made me so conscious as soon as you
no
said that.
no you need to stop. You need to quit. But anyway,
What?
no, listen. No, seriously, like the thing about it when you come out with the right mindset is
Right.
no matter what situation you in, you can take that small little good, whatever little piece it was, what the Bible talk about, the faith of a mustard seed. Come on. So if you
Okay.
could just take that little part and hold on to it and build off of that and allow that to make you the best that you can be, then you in your own. And that's why it was so easy for me to come out here.
Right.
I don't succumb to peer pressure. I don't, I don't have an identity crisis.
Right.
I never messed with no boys while I was in prison. I ain't never stole nothing from nobody. I ain't never told on nobody. I ain't never lost no fight either.
Okay.
But I
Yeah.
always
You stay loyal to the soil.
hey, listen, right. Yeah, and it all
Stay
come
loyal
from
to
and
the soil.
it all come from right there. Come on. You ain't finna be standing up at Bill's on Dayton in Detroit. I ain't gonna say Martin Luther King. I'm gonna say Dayton in Detroit because that's what
Detroit
you ain't
and
finna be
Coral,
standing.
King.
Yeah, or Tip Tops up on Dayton and DuPont, or up
Uh,
at Civic Park, up at Double D's. You ain't finna be standing up there, or D&H. You ain't finna be standing up there on no bullshit, and you know it,
right.
and you
And
know
we
it.
were
And I
all there. But thank
all
God
there.
we did make it out alive and
Yeah,
in one piece. So I just want to thank you for coming and take your time out, sharing your story with me, everybody.
man. Thank you very much for having me. If
So
anything, I just pray that somebody could take something from it that, you know,
right,
to know that whatever bottom you at is somebody that's bottom is worse. And
right,
that is still it's still an opportunity to get yourself out. As long as you got your limbs and your faculties, God with you.
right. And just
Yeah,
keep faith in God. You know what I mean? I tell people that all the time. Set your
absolutely.
boundaries and just, believe God. We
You
like the
got
children
to.
of Israel. We can
When,
get out
yeah,
of it. He will
yeah,
part the
but at
sea
the
for us.
same,
He will
hey,
part the sea for us, man.
hey, at the same time, faith without works is dead. If you ain't
Yeah.
putting in the
I
work,
tell
you
people
can't
that
sit
all
back.
the time.
Can't sit back, cry about I ain't got this, I ain't got that, and I'm this, that, and this, that, and use it as an excuse to revert to the street life when all you have to do is sit down and just read a book, take a class, and have
Right.
patience.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, look, thank you.
Thank you
Get
for
ready
having
to
me.
wrap this up. And I need you
Thank
to
you for
stay
having me.
important. And everything's going to be okay. I believe you got this.
Thank you very much.
I know you got this, okay, baby? But hold on. We're going to end this report.
She was too
Mm.
damn cold.
She
Damn
was too
cold.
damn cold. She was too damn cold.